Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to our Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to our 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here, physically at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that's watching this discourse locally, nationally, and internationally. And I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube and the various groups from around the world subsequently. At the outset, I want to wish all my Christian brothers and sisters a Merry Christmas today, and I also want to wish my devotees who's present here today a Merry Christmas. We have a full house attendance, and on Christmas Day, this is absolutely unique. And this is also insurmountable evidence that the Guru is genuine. We do not need to go to any other forum or platform or anywhere to find out whether the Guru is genuine. Your attendance here today will show any court in the world that the Guru is a genuine Guru. On Christmas Day, to get a full house attendance at any satsang, anywhere, will prove this. This is our last satsang of 2022. For the past 2 months, we had been sidetracked, but it is inevitable for anyone to rectify misconceptions about them. You must do that. The Guru is teaching you something. The Guru's life is the aspirant's formulation on how to live life. You see how the Guru lived his life, then you go home and you start living your life as the Guru lived your life. So do not become squeamish when somebody tries to suppress you. Stand up for what is right. Be forthright, be straightforward, and never let go of the truth. More often than not, the truth gets smeared with untruths, but you live in that molecule of truth, because untruths have no eternal time. They find a way of exploding. And when all the untruths explode, the only visible entity is the absolute truth. So the Guru is teaching you how to live. Be strong, both males and females. Don't take nonsense from any other human being, whether it's in your family, whether it's outside, whether it's at work. Live straight, live prim, live proper. Don't worry how filthy the other side is. Don't be afraid to get messed up. Don't be afraid to get messed up. Stand for what you know to be the absolute truth. And this is what I've been showing you for the past 2 months, and I will continue to show you without any fear that at the end, the truth is going to shine like the sun. The truth is going to shine like the sun. In Sanatana Dharma, and the prime reason for my birth in the Western world is to clear all confusions in Sanatana Dharma. And now and then we are tipped into this dimension by circumstances. And it is clear from what I've seen on social media that there is absolute ignorance when it comes to Sanatana Dharma. A Muslim will never tackle the Maulana because both the Muslim and the Maulana know the Quran. In Christianity, the followers will never tackle the pastor because both the followers and the pastor know the Bible. But in Sanatana Dharma, people that have not opened the Bhagavad Gita in their entire life will teach the Guru how to perform his functions. Who never heard of the Upanishads, who never heard of the Brahma Sutras, who've only heard of the Ramayana, only heard of the name Ram, only heard of the name Lord Krishna, will teach the Guru, who is established in the Vedas itself, who is a personification of the Vedas. Sanatana Dharmis will tell the Guru what to do, when to do, how to do, why to do and why not to do. So this is the reason I took my birth in the Western world, is to teach you the ABC of spirituality. I have hundreds of discourses stored already on YouTube, Facebook and wherever. But these discourses seem to have little effect on the mindset of those that purport to be Sanatana Dharmis. So again, this is Kali Yuga, and the Guru's job is 66% more in Kali Yuga than in any other yuga, which means the failure rate will be higher in people trying to understand Sanatana Dharma than in any other yuga cycle. But it is the job of the Guru to unpack his existence, your existence, and the Supreme Lord's existence. That is all the Guru has to do. But we have to go a roundabout way because the mind is not ready yet to accept what the Guru is expounding. So I've explained in an earlier discourse, and I want to explain again. The body has 5 coverings. Every body has 5 coverings. The gross body, the air body or the pranic body, the mental body, the intellectual body, and the causal body. All these 5 coverings cover the soul. And it is this covering, these 5 coverings, that is called ignorance. So the soul assumes the causal body to be itself, the intellectual body to be itself, the mental body to be itself, the pranic body to be itself, and the gross body to be itself. This is what the soul thinks it is. And this is where ignorance is at its total. Ignorance is at its total. So, in the gross body itself are implanted the senses, the 5 senses. What are the 5 senses? Sight. When the soul comes into the eye through the sense of the eye, it sees. When the soul enters the eye, through the sight of the eye it sees, and when it sees through the sense of the eye, it believes what it sees to be the absolute truth. You understand? Then through the auditory canal, when the soul is placed there, it hears. And what it hears, it believes to be the absolute truth. Then when the soul, through the nostrils, smell, then it believes that smell to be the absolute truth. And when it is situated on the tongue, then through the tongue it believes the taste to be the absolute truth. All of you understand? However, what the soul sees through this outer five body, what the soul's experience through the outer body, is not its real true self, is not its real true self. The causal body, the very first body that covers the soul, entices the soul into I and mine. That causal body entices the soul into believing I and mine, and the rest of the body acts in concert. The other four bodies acts in concert. You understand? So when these senses, when these five senses control your mind, five senses control your mind, you are living in chaos. The sense of taste impels the mind to go get a Nando's chicken. Sense of taste impels the mind to go get a bucket of Kentucky Nando's, a bottle of alcohol. And when the mind responds positively, then you are a very weak human being. When the senses are in control, you are a very weak human being. In fact, you are the lowest category of human being, almost animal. Why I say almost animal? Because Lakshman out there, he only lives on his senses, yes or no? All animals only live on their instinctive senses. So when senses are in control of you, then what's the difference between you and an animal? Very little difference, you understand? And I've stated a million times that Sanatana Dharma is not a religious institution. It is scientific. It is scientific. Religion will give you law and order how to behave in a particular grouping. Sanatana Dharma exists in all of these groupings because the soul have no identity. Soul has no identity. And I'm going to show you just now why it is futile to believe you are somebody greater than another person. So if the mind starts taking control, the mind starts taking control of the senses, then you start your journey to humanity. When the mind starts taking control of its senses, you start your journey to humanity. So if, like today, we have a full house. Today your mind took over your senses. All of you that are present here today. I think some of you had to debate whether you're going to come or not. All right? But the mind won. The mind won because you are here at Satsang today. So your sense of taste would have said Sunday, Christmas, turkey. Sunday, Christmas, turkey. Sunday, Christmas, alcohol. Today, for some reason, Lord Jesus Christ gave Hindus permission to drink. Yes? Any Hindu anywhere in the world, you catch him drunk today, he'll tell you it's Christmas. Yes? So today, Lord Jesus Christ gave Hindus license to drink. All right? But your mind was more powerful than your senses, because your mind dictated to you, let me go to satsang today and let me hear what nectarian advice I can get and practice it at home. Yes? So you sacrificed your 1 or 2 or 3 hours today so that you could come to satsang and better yourself as a human being. And that is very difficult on a day like this. And this is why I said that if I have to go to court and prove whether I'm a fake guru or a genuine guru, I'll take this video and this recording and ask the judge to make a decision on his own. You understand? So let's get back to the mind and the senses. Once the senses cannot control the mind, majority of your battle is won in life as a human being. Once the senses cannot control your mind, you're already a winner. When the mind becomes neutral, then the next body takes over, which is called the intellectual body, So the mind, the function of the mind is willing and feeling. You can will the mind and you can feel through the minds. All emotions, psychological, physiological, all emotion runs through the mind. The mind is the source of all emotions. It is also the source of willing. You can will your mind to stop the senses from activating it. You can will the mind. Willpower comes through the mind. So when the senses control your mind is your enemy, the soul's enemy. And when the mind controls the senses, then the mind becomes the soul's friend. The mind becomes the soul's friend. When it becomes the soul's friend, then intellect. Decisions are now based on the intellect, because it is the job of the intellect to tell you what is right and what is wrong. So the intellect has capacity for you to put your handbrakes up and look at the issue in a way which is not emotional. Because remember, the mind now has given authority or mandate to the intellect to make decisions. To the intellect to make decisions. So when you are in the awake state, when you are now in this awake state, remember I told you there are 4 states. When you are in this awake state, then your gross body is totally functional. The gross body, the food body, all the food that you eat has made up this body. Your eyes is made of the food, your nose is made of the food, your ears, all this material biological body, the entire body that can be seen by medical science. This is the only body that medical science can see. This body is made up of the food you eat. And this is why in Sanatana Dharma we say, you are what you are what you understand? In Sanatana Dharma we say this. Because this body that you are on the outside is made up of food. When you are in a dream state, then you are within the pranic body, the mental body, and the intellectual body. When you are in your dream state, when you sleep, the biological body switches off, yes or no? Then that body that you are alive in, you're still alive when you're dreaming, because you know you are dreaming, you are the witness of your dreams. The soul is watching the dream, yes or no? So the soul has to be awake to be watching the dream whilst the body is sleeping, yet you falsely believe that you are sleeping, don't you? You say, I had a good sleep. And this false identification comes from the causal body, because the causal body impels you to understand that all these bodies is the soul. The real you is all of these bodies. So then you also go into deep sleep. You also go into deep sleep. When you go to deep sleep, you residing in your causal body. The soul is residing in its causal body, and that causal body is also called the bliss sheet or the bliss body. And this is when you feel absolutely invigorated and blissful when you get up in the morning and say, I had such a deep sleep and I had no dreams. It was because the soul was established in the bliss or causal body. You understand? Then there is a concept in Sanatana Dharma which every gurus must go through. It is a spiritual concept, cannot be determined by material science, because material science have not yet had the capacity to discover the mind, discover the intellect, and discover the causal body. So this is purely Sanatana Dharma, and this can only be evidenced by scientists of Sanatana Dharma. And the scientists of Sanatana Dharma are saints and sages who experience this. This is through experience. You cannot go on Google and Google Sanatana Dharma. You can't Google the Bhagavad Gita. You can't Google the Upanishads. You can't Google these Sanatan Dharmic texts because they have to be experienced. And you have to draw a conclusion through experience in the Vedas. You can't go take out a piece of a Vedic injunction and take another piece and take another piece and make a conclusion from it. You have to experience the entire Sanatan Dharma through the Vedas. To make any commentary on Sanatan Dharma, you have to spiritually experience the Bhagavad Gita, you have to spiritually experience the Upanishads, you have to spiritually experience all the texts, and then you have to conclude from your experience through preaching like what I am doing. So to become a bona fide spiritual master, to become a guru, you have to start moving. Firstly, first step would be to stop sensual activities. Stop sensual activities, stop the senses, stop the mind, stop the intellect, stop the impulsion of the causal body and establish yourself in yourself, which is called self-realization. This means I, the soul, lodged in this body, have discarded the causal body, have discarded the intellectual body, have discarded the mental body, have discarded the pranic body, have discarded the gross body, and I live within myself. That is called self-realization. And this is why it is not necessary for bona fide spiritual masters to go and learn anywhere. You don't have to learn anywhere because all the information in the Vedas, is embedded in your soul like a chip. So what I am discussing today, if you, anyone or anyone listening to this discourse, if they undergo self-realization, then they too will have the exact same information that I have. Every living entity has the same information that a self-realized entity or a God-realized entity has. You understand? All souls are equal in every dimension. Every soul is equal in every dimension, including knowledge. So when you attain self-realization, when you establish yourself within yourself, then knowledge becomes your attribute. Knowledge becomes your attribute which is revealed to you. So you don't have to go for self-realization, you don't have to learn anything from anyone. You take the guidance of a bona fide guru, and a bona fide guru will take you from your gross body to your pranic body, to your mental body, to your intellectual body, through your causal body, and through to yourself. And this is what my Guruji did to me. But my Guruji was a conceptual guru to me. So I met my Guruji on a spiritual platform. You are here with your Guru on a material platform. I met my Guru on a spiritual platform. Then I want to say to you that this universe lasts for 311 trillion, 40 billion years. It creates through the Vedas. The creation of this universe takes its instructions from the Vedas. And we said the Vedas is eternal. So when next creation takes place, where must it take its instructions from? Vedas. Then you have Lord Brahma in the Vedas. Exactly how he created in the previous creation, he will create in the current creation and He will create in the following creation. Why? Because God inserts the same disc over and over and over again for creation. And in that disc is computed the entire knowledge of the Vedas, which is 545,000 verses. So that 545,000 verses is repeatedly put into creation. The same seven saints from which all humanity flows, from the same seven saints from which all humanity flows, will be in every creation. The same sages who spoke in the Vedas will be born again and speak in the Vedas. Everything that happened has happened 1,000,000 times and will happen 1,000,000 times again. Is it understood and is it logical? Because if God is eternal, this creation is eternal, what is eternal can't be changed. So I've also stated that the Guru principle is the third principle in creation. Guru principle is the third principle in creation. And the four Kumaras personify the Guru principle. The four Kumaras personify the Guru principle. Then it can be taken for granted that all the Gurus, all the bona fide spiritual masters are also eternal. And all the disciples are also eternal, because the same entities, the same functionaries occurs in every cycle of creation. Does it make logical sense to you? Does it make logical sense? So the Guru actually doesn't take a birth, he continues to appear after a lapse of time, and his disciples also continue to appear after a lapse of time, fully managed and controlled by the Supreme Lord, who lives in the soul of the Guru and also lives in the soul of the disciples. The Supreme Lord, the Creator, lives in the soul of the Guru, and he also lives in the soul of the disciples. And it is him that brings the disciples and the Guru face to face. It is the Lord who brings the disciple to the Guru, and it is the Guru who takes the disciple to the Lord. You understand? So the Lord within the soul, unknowing to the disciple, drives the disciple to the Guru. And the Lord in each of your soul today drove you to ashram. You understand? Then the Guru takes you to the Supreme Lord through scriptural injunctions. It is the Guru who takes the disciple to the Supreme Lord via scriptural injunctions. So the existence of the soul has two types of consciousness, or it has consciousness that can be described in two parts. The one part I described to you today is the substantive part of your consciousness, where I said you are the soul, and once you fix your mind to returning back to yourself, then you are returning to your substantive consciousness which is within the soul. Then there is the attributive consciousness. And the attributive consciousness works on the outside, like it is working now. You are perceiving me through your attributive consciousness. This attributive consciousness is contracted within the shape of your body. This attributive consciousness is attracted within the shape of your body because it is in karma. Karma gave you this human body today. This body that you are wearing, you got it through karma, and this consciousness, which is all pervading, is contracted. When you understand and live within the parameters of your soul, this attributive consciousness releases from your body and it becomes all-pervading. It becomes infinite and all-pervading. It can reach anywhere. It can reach anywhere. And at the borders of our material universe, we find Lord Vishnu has 4 posts at the borders of our material universe. And when your consciousness becomes all-pervading, your attributive consciousness connects to the attributive consciousness of the Supreme Lord. When that happens, it means you are in God realization. It means you are in God realization. All of you understand? And this is the job of a guru. This is the job of a guru, to start making you work, go inward until you reach your soul. And when you reach your soul, then your attributive consciousness is released from this contracted position. It goes out and it meets Lord Sriman Narayan. When it meets Lord Sriman Narayan, when the two attributive consciousness synthesizes, you are in God realization. All of you understand? Then I want to conclude. How many of you heard of Uttar Pradesh? Quite a few. Where is it? India. It is the largest state in India. So India, if you want to envision it like a continent, then it is the biggest country in India. It is the largest state in India. Previously, prior to this 8 years, Indian mafia was running the entire Uttar Pradesh. And they were in government, they were in the police force, they were in the judiciary. They had influence in every activity of this state of Uttar Pradesh. All right, you must go and Google it. Then, 2014 elections, Narendra Modi won the Prime Ministership and he co-opted Swami Yogi Adityanath. Sri Narendra Modi co-opted Swami Yogi Adityanath and made him the chief minister. Made him the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh, which is the land of the gurus. India. You think anyone protested that a bona fide spiritual master who has his own ashram, he has his own disciples, He was co-opted into the most notorious state in terms of mafia and criminality. You think anybody objected in India? Why? Because in India, they know the guru-disciple relationship, they know the Mahabharata, they know the Ramayana, and they know basic Vedas. So they didn't get into an uproar when the CM became or when a Swami, a bona fide Swami that lives in an ashram and has a following, and he still has a following today, whilst he is on his second term as the chief minister. He is also called Bulldozer Baba. He is also called Bulldozer Baba. He takes TLBs and excavators. He goes to the mafia's houses and he demolishes their houses. He picks them up and he throws them into jail. Who? Swami, Yogi, Adityanath, and the guru-disciple relationship is most prominent in India. Not a single person has said, hey, what kind of a guru this is? What kind of a guru this is? He cleared the entire state of Uttar Pradesh aggressively. How? How do you deal with the criminal? He didn't bring all the mafias, bring them in a hall and tell the mafias, you know mafias, what y'all are doing is wrong. Come touch my feet, I'll touch your head. And this wrongness that you are perpetuating, I'm going to counsel you for my whole 5-year term as a chief minister. I'll counsel you so that you do not hurt innocent people. My job as a guru is to counsel you. No. He demolished their houses and he demolished them. What he did? Demolished their houses physically. It's on video. Go and see. Every day it was on the news somewhere or another. Swami Yogi Adityanath demolishes houses of mafias. So this is a precedent, and this is what I will be doing here in South Africa. We own excavators. My children own excavators and trucks. Yogi Adityanath leaves the rubble there. I'll at least remove the rubble, maybe with you inside, depending where you was when the house was getting demolished. You understand? So this is why I say people make themselves a fool publicly because they do not have knowledge. Start with knowledge. And they even have the audacity to say knowledge is power when they do not have the knowledge themselves. So if you do not have knowledge, then you have no power. And I want you to understand like this. If you take a saucer of milk and if you allow the snake to sip that milk, can you take the milk after that? Why? Milk become poisonous. That is why it is a Vedic injunction, and Lord Sri Krishna, I read it last week, he begs Arjuna. He begs Arjuna that the knowledge in the Bhagavad Gita is secret knowledge which must only be given to a devotee. Which must only be given to a devotee. Why that knowledge must only be given to a devotee? Because a non-devotee will contaminate that knowledge. And I showed you, if you look around in the past week, you'll see that if you do not know the Bhagavad Gita, even Swamis, there are 8 grades of gurus. 8 grade of gurus. A guru in grade triple R cannot make a commentary on any Vedic knowledge, because one guru has made a commentary that the Bhagavad Gita is incidental. The Bhagavad Gita is incidental. If the Supreme Lord wanted the Bhagavad Gita to be incidental, He would have not come down Himself. You understand? Jaya and Vijaya also gave you that story. Yes? I gave you the story of Jaya and Vijaya a few weeks ago. That story is found in the Bhagavad Puran. That story is found in the Bhagavad Puran. The Puranas are secondary knowledge. The Puranas are secondary knowledge. The Bhagavad Gita, the Brahma Sutras, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutras, and the Vedas, which includes the Upanishads. You can only make a decision, a Vedic decision, from these 3 authorities. If any other authority contradicts these 3 authorities, although they are in the Vedas, they must be discarded. You understand? So this Swami states that the Supreme Lord's Leela with Jaya and Vijaya is paramount to the knowledge that the Lord incarnates to save Dharma, protect His devotees, to save Dharma, protect His devotees, and annihilate the demons. Will you believe the Bhagavad Gita or will you believe the Purana? So a bona fide spiritual master who is on the highest grade because knowledge has been revealed to him is the only personality that has capacity to make a commentary. Because these lower grade Swamis is just like them allowing the snake to drink the milk and give you that information. All of you understand? Is Jaya Vijaya mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita? Jaya and Vijaya are not mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna did not see the relevance of their part when he is imparting the summary of all Vedic injunctions. The Bhagavad Gita is the summary of all Vedic injunctions, and that is the book to be followed to the T by all human beings. All of you understand? So lack of knowledge is not power, it is stupidity. Jai Sriman Narayan.